back to another episode, another interview, another chat with some awesome filmmakers that I couldn't wait to sit down with and talk about a new movie that they've got coming out. The movie is called How to Kill Monsters from director Stewart Sparke, member of the Dark Rift team. We loved Book of Monsters. We were a big fan of that movie a little while back. I think it's 2018 now. Jesus, that's a while back now. So when this was coming, we knew we were going to get behind this and we were going to try and give it the full nerdly force and let people know about it. 25th of August, it's going to be shown at FrightFest. You can get yourself there. There's still a couple of tickets left. Not many, but there's still a few. Get yourself there, FrightFest, to watch this movie in London. There's going to be a Q&A, cast crew, they're all going to be there. Everyone is going to be there. So this interview today was with Stewart Sparke and a couple of his cast. Lead actress Lyndsey Craine, who we absolutely adore on this show. Arron joined us as well, along with Daniel Thrace. So yeah, we got a good little mixture of people, good little mixture of voices, and we just sat down and talked about the movie and FrightFest and everything like that. And China's just shot the breeze about a number of different things. But first of all, let me tell you, this is Nerdly Out Loud. My name is Kevin Halden, and we are the official channel of nerdly.co.uk, your favourite British home for news, reviews, and exclusive interviews. We like to cover everything from the big budget to the low budget to the no budget, with a special keen interest on the lower end of the scale. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. I've got more interviews, more things going on. I had a few life things happen, and that kind of like sidetracked things a little bit. I'm kind of trying to get back on track now. Things should be okay. Baby in the Basket starts shooting soon. And as you all know, along with Shepka Productions, Flickering Myth, and Tom Jolliffe, we are all together in this little melting pot to make Baby in the Basket a gothic horror movie set in Scotland, which I can't wait to start getting going. But yeah, pre-production's on the go. There are location scouting and all that good stuff. So Baby in the Basket is 100% going ahead. But for now, How to Kill Monsters, I'll play the trailer before the interview comes on, and you will see how good this movie looks. Please do, if you can make it to FrightFest down in London on the 25th of August, get yourself there to watch How to Kill Monsters. Get yourself there to watch a number of different things, but this one in particular. I'm going to go, and I hope you enjoy this interview as much as I did enjoy talking to them. Great bunch of people. Loved this chat, and I hope you guys do too.
Jamie, I'm just here for the truth, no matter how strange or bizarre it is. What the hell was that?
You just said...
Just start from the beginning, okay? Before the screaming.
Got it.
A cabin in the woods. A ritual that summons some kind of monster which conveniently disappeared. Oh, and a chainsaw. I mean, come on. It's been done.
You're not telling me you actually went along with all of this, right? Fuck off.
So, yes, Nerdly Out Loud, Nerdly UK, nerdly.co.uk, your favourite British website for all of your news, reviews, and exclusive interviews are back. And we have got an interview this time with a group of guys, a team of people, Dark Rift. I've been dying to speak to all of you about various different projects, but definitely about this one. How is everyone today?
Jolly good.
Good. Jolly good, yes.
How British was that answer?
Yes,
very British. You've got to keep it as British as possible, really. Let's quickly... basically, we're going to be talking about the movie How to Kill Monsters, which on August the 25th will be showing at FrightFest, which is absolutely amazing. Can't wait for everyone to see that there. Stuart, you've been living and breathing this movie for the last few months and stuck in the editing booth, and every time I speak to you, you're balls deep into getting this movie finished. How does it feel to be little under a week away from?
Yeah, it's super excited. FrightFest, such a long history with FrightFest, really, because we made The Creature Below, which also had Lyndsey and Arron in. Smaller parts in that one, I think. Arron, you were a Lovecraftian kind of insane asylum at the end.
I was man on couch number 5.
Man on couch number 5, and Lyndsey was a nurse who we gave the name Susan Arkham.
Yeah.
Just as a
Nice.
fun Lovecraft reference. And yeah, FrightFest had just started their first Blood Strand, which is like an initiative where it's like first-time features from filmmakers. Ian rang me, one of the festival directors, and he was like, Stewart, it's not a great film, but I can see that you've got promise in your future. I'd like to show it. And I was like, thanks. But, you know, it was fantastic. We got to watch it in London in front of an audience. That was cool. And then, yeah, luckily, we've become a bit of regulars now because we had Book of Monsters in, managed to sell out Prince Charles Cinema. That was such a great experience, like having everyone there. The audience really seemed to love it. So, yeah, this time round, it's never a given getting in, even if you've had a film in before, because the four horsemen, as they call them, Alan, Greg, Paul, and Ian, are so they're very selective about what they pick. They've got to make sure that they're going to fill it out. So we submitted How to Kill Monsters, and we're just like holding our breath. And then thankfully, yeah, they really liked it. And this time we're in the super screen in Cineworld, so it's like 375 seats, which is insane, like Dolby Atmos sound. So yeah, I'm so excited. But it really has been the last 3 months probably of just intense post-production. Been working with our producer, Cal O'Connell, who's also been doing the visual effects with our other artist called Jeff Blythe in the States. So there's been like all that going on. I've been heading into Leeds to work with Tom Bowers, who's our sound designer and dubbing mixer. Man, it's been crazy, but we got it in just in time. So the film is ready to screen next week.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like, I kept talking back and forth with you on like Discord and online and everything like that. And it was like, yeah, we're gonna do this. I just need to get this little bit edited, and then we'll sit down. And actually, I've got to do this bit now. And it was like, come on, Stuart, just sit down with me.
It never ends, man. It never ends. And this is the
No,
thing.
I
like,
get that.
You jump into production, and we have like a really clear schedule of, okay, we're going to be done by, we'll finish filming, then we'll go into editing and this. And then the problem is, because I'm the editor as well, is the downside of that is I just keep tweaking, keep making better, getting feedback. But I think you hear this story every year at FrightFest when the director intros the film. It's like, we finished this last week just in time. And I can totally appreciate that, because you want to make it the best it can be ready for the screening. So but we tested it on a cinema many times. I'm sick to death of the movie now because I've seen it so many times. But yeah, I was really proud of it, really happy with it, and I can't wait to see what people think of it. That's the main thing. This is the test now. Are people going to enjoy it? I hope they will.
So let's bounce around the squares a little bit, Stuart. I guess people already know that you're the writer, director, producer, editor, write the theme song, sing the theme song. But let's go around the squares and everybody introduce themselves and what they did on the movie, what their role was on the movie.
Lyndsey, after you.
Okay, yeah. So I'm Lyndsey Craine, and I play Jamie in House of Monsters.
I'm Arron Dennis, and I play Dennis in How to Kill Monsters.
and we may have another. We may have another member.
I'm evil. I'm so evil. Naming the character after you, Darren.
Dan?
Does that not just makes things easier for you, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's Aaron's fault for being so good, because he was so good at Book of Monsters, and the reviews, the biggest part of the reviews, the criticism that we took from it was the stripper guy was so funny. Why did he get killed off so early? So like me and Paul, who wrote this film, were like, okay, so Aaron's going to have a bigger part in this one, and we're not going to kill him off quite so early this time. So
I just love how you trolled. It was the ultimate troll for the Kickstarter campaign for Book of Monsters. It was like, the audience gets to pick the uninvited guest. Oh look, the audience picked the stripper, and then pasty chubby me turns up at the door. It's like, ha ha ha! You get all of it. Sorry, are we allowed to swear on this?
Of course we are. Of course you are.
Fucking brilliant.
Too late already.
It's already gone down the shitter. And I've been involved in one of several groups in kind of York and the north of little filmmaker groups, and Stuart's worked on music videos that I've made, and we've both worked on comedy web series in the past, and then I just kind of go and play in people's sandboxes when they want me to come along and make silly faces. So that's me.
and that's something that's quite prevalent in especially in the UK on the independent scene now. Right now, like all these little groups everywhere. Has it always been like that, or is that something that people are really just sort of merging into?
It's always been like that, hasn't it, Arron? I think we've all. It's like me and Lyndsey both went to York St John University together, and when we moved, as soon as we moved here, you started to find all the little groups and pockets of people. So, like, I met Arron through working with another filmmaker called Jamie McKellar, and then Miles, Tony, and Hannah from the Zombloglips lot, working with them as well, and we all end up working on each other's stuff, and that's only just continue to grow because there's more and more filmmakers coming every day. And York, as such a historic city with just like, it's just a beautiful city to walk around. I think it must bring out the artistic side of everybody. So it's like people just come here and think, I'm going to make a movie. I think that's what happens.
It's a great place for it. It definitely is. My wife and I, we like to visit York every now and then for a few drinky poos, but I do love York. So Book of Monsters obviously was 2018, 2019 that came out, and it kind of became like a low-key British cult favorite. Like everybody kind of got on board with it, and it's such a great movie. Like I genuinely loved Book of Monsters when I first saw it, and this is kind of like a spiritual, not quite sequel, but sort of in the same realm, I guess.
Yeah.
So what was the initial concept for getting the band back together and how making How to Kill Monsters?
Yeah, well, we made Book of Monsters, and I think every filmmaker goes through this, especially on independent film. You're just exhausted by the end. But at the moment you get your premiere and you're watching it, you're like, I need to make another film. You forget all the horrible stress and hardships that you had to go through to get the other one made. So
it's like Labour.
Yeah.
Let's have another one.
So we were, as soon as it finished, like when we were doing the festival run, we were just coming up with ideas, and I just had a notes folder on my phone, and we were like, okay, Book of Monsters 2, let's do it. We were going to call it Book of Monsters Volume 2. And it was always, what I always thought would be fun is we pick up like Back to the Future Part 2 style immediately after the end of the first film. So Nick Vince, the dad, walks through the door and goes, what the fuck? And then the armed police like hammer him to the floor. They get him in handcuffs. They arrest everybody because obviously it looks like there's a big massacre there. And we were going to play on all the joke, or any of the criticism we had for the first film would be played on. So like the police would accuse all the monster remains of looking like just bad Halloween costumes and things like that. There was no evidence of it actually being real. And the film would revolve around Sophie, Beth, and the other characters, Mona, all being in prison cells, and all the monsters then attacking the police station. So it was Assault on Precinct 13.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, it meets kind of a Shaun of the Dead thing, which would have been really fun. And we had all sorts of crazy ideas. There was like a whole thing where Sophie would have turned out to have an identical twin sister she never knew she had, called Jamie, who was like a really cool Buffy the Vampire Slayer style badass version of her. And like all her friends liked her more, and there was this big rivalry, and it was a cool idea, but like the more we got into it, you realize that the cool ideas don't always make a great entire movie.
Right.
So we were like, right, I like some of this stuff. The police station concept's great, but let's just come up with new characters, new story, and then we can do whatever we want. We're not like shackled to honoring the original film. And also it was kind of egotistical to assume that everyone had seen Book of Monsters. I didn't want to make Volume 2 and then people are like, wait, I've got to watch the first one. I think it would have put people off. So it was like, right, fresh start. So How to Kill Monsters is like the best ideas from that sequel, but even better. Like, and it gave
kind of Evil Dead 2, really, isn't it?
Yeah, Evil Dead 2, the beginning, I guess it has that kind of section. The first 15 minutes are just Evil Dead 1, but better. So really, How to Kill Monsters is everything we wished Book of Monsters was originally, but entirely new story. And yeah, it gave us a chance to bring like Arron back, but now he's not a fake cop stripper. He's a real cop. And we get to bring Dan back and Michaela back and everyone back, but they get to play different characters. So in a way, this is, if we're treating our films like American Horror Story, it's that kind of thing. Each movies, we get to bring back different people that get to play in a different kind of playground, which is really fun.
I love that. And Lyndsey, we met Sophie. We started to root for Sophie. We loved Sophie. Now you're Jamie. How does this character differ? Who did you prefer to play? And tell us a little bit about Jamie.
Yeah, so you meet Jamie. As she's basically the sole survivor of a blood-soaked massacre at a cabin in the woods, and she's been pulled into this ritual to summon a monster. So she's not in the best of places when we meet her. She gets arrested by the police, and she's basically almost like the final girl of a movie that's happened just before How to Kill Monsters starts. So throughout the film, you kind of learn obviously what happened at the cabin, and yeah, you get to just go on the journey with her and see, find out more about her and see what happens to the final girl after the credits are rolled, that kind of thing. So yeah, she's not. Who was the? I don't know who I enjoyed playing more because they're both quite different. Yeah, this, as Stewart said, like bringing a similar cast back was just so much fun to see people in different roles and to work together. I mean, obviously, I used the chainsaw may appear in this film, so that was quite cool to.
I mean, it better do. It's on the bloody poster.
Yeah, to be reunited with the chainsaw was pretty cool.
Classic mislead.
Yeah, yeah. You go on like a different journey with Jamie that you did with Sophie. So yeah, it was so much fun. I had equal amounts of fun on Book of Monsters as I did on How to Kill Monsters. So I really hope people enjoy it just as much, and I hope people like Jamie as much. If people like Sophie.
Oh, they do. And I just wanted to say, it's like Lyndsey's so good at playing the kind of sweet, innocent girl next door type. So we were like, with Sophie, she did that character so well. So with Jamie, kind of, there's a lot of kind of wink nods to the audience of like, yeah, this is similar character, but as you'll see over the course of the movie, it's like Lyndsey gets to do some really cool, very different stuff. And I think people are going to be very surprised and impressed with what Lyndsey brings in this movie.
Excellent. And with very cool and very interesting stuff. How many buckets of blood did you throw over us, Stuart?
I can't remember. Someone counted at one point, but yeah, the budget on the special effects blood was pretty high for this one. We again, it was another thing with Book of Monsters where, like, as a filmmaker, I was like, I wish we'd just done more gore. Like, why do I feel like we're held back a bit? And sometimes I'm like concerned for the actors, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to. No, I won't do it. And then you immediately regret that. And this time, I was like, I'm going to literally pour a fuck ton of blood on your face. Yeah. Like, you're going to get blood. You're going to get blood. You just got to don't consider what the actors want. Consider what I want. That's what
exactly. because what you want is what the viewer wants. So
exactly.
There you go.
I'm a massive horror fan. I love stuff like Evil Dead 2, and it's like, what would I want to see?
As the supporting cast, though, I made the terrible decision at one point in the movie where there is sort of a real sort of shower of blood, which I won't say what happens. I made the mistake of kind of leaning forward and doing this. So it's like as the thing kind of went blorch, I went Gah! And so I got like blood sort of all down here, and then that continuity had to stay for the rest of the film. So even though it was nowhere near as close as what Lyndsey had to deal with every single day, but I basically it was kind of like Lord of the Rings, with the when they kind of give them the white hand of Saruman. It was just like get a bucket of blood and go on the head. And just kind of every day sort of trying to treat like, did I have my blood? Was the blood like that? Was the blood like this? Was the blood? And just taking time to get that continuity. I think we got it. I don't know, but yeah, every single day a shower was a must, not a choice.
Yeah, the amount of like blood continuity photos everyone had on their phones to make sure that the exact amount of blood was everywhere on the face. So a lot of the time it was just put it everywhere.
And I hate having blood on me. I don't like. I'm really kind of OCD about like sticky, gory things, and somehow I've just always ended up in low budget like web series and horror films and things like that where I'm just covered in like prosthetics and blood and gore and stuff, and I don't know, sent to test me, I guess, but it's fun.
You love it.
Still a lot of fun.
Let's be honest. You absolutely love it.
Yeah.
If it's easy, it's not fun. So, talking about returning casting characters, we have another person here. So I'll just quickly add him into the stream.
Hey!
Hello, everyone.
How you doing, man?
Very good. Thank you for having me on, and thank you for having all of us on. Sounds like you guys are having a good conversation.
Not a problem, not a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw you right in at the deep end. We want to know exactly how this movie ends. Spoilers, everything.
I'm on strict rules not to say anything.
Now, we are joined by Mr. Daniel Thrace, who returns from Book of Monsters as well, and I believe he's done other projects with you as well, Stuart. Tell us a little bit about Melvin, Daniel.
Melvin's like the quintessential younger brother. He's cocky, a little bit of a dick, but he's got a good heart, really. And I think secretly, as much as he maybe doesn't want people to know, he looks up to Dennis a hell of a lot, as much as he tries to push him around and maybe take advantage of Dennis's better nature.
and those as the part of the Kickstarter, you were putting out a lot of behind the scenes, and one of the questions I do want to ask is like, do you have any like really like super awesome fun stories? Because you guys look like you're having so much fun behind the scenes on this.
God, I mean, I think one of the best things is about making these films is, especially since I've worked with Dark Rift so many times, you know, with Stewart, with Paul the writer, with Lyndsey and Arron as well. We're just like a big family, so every day was just a good laugh. You know, between sort of slipping around on blood-covered and foam-soaked floors and getting to see certain childhood actors, you know, a certain gent from Dinner Ladies get. I don't know if I can say any more about that. I'm going to stop myself. I can feel Stuart staring at me. No, I think that's the thing. We had so much fun making it. You know, we got to work in studio at the university with some brilliant people. I'm trying to think of any sort of specific things that might have been fun. It's funny you mention it, because the first thing that always comes to mind with working with these guys isn't necessarily How to Kill. It was actually Book of Monsters, when myself and Arron choreographed a striptease, which was a lovely introduction to his comedy chops, which show through in this film, definitely.
I love it when you handle my comedy chops.
Wow. No, that's a statement right there. That's a statement.
No, Dan really helped me, actually, because I had to do a striptease in Book of Monsters, and I was overthinking it massively, and then it sort of struck me. I was like, it's not meant to be good. I'm not meant to be good at this. It's meant to be embarrassing and cringy, and this guy shouldn't be a stripper 100%.
He failed terribly. It was one of the sexiest stripteases I've ever seen.
No, but Dan's great at like stunt coordination, and you know, he can give you little tips on like. There's a fair bit of action in How to Kill Monsters, and so you're sort of falling on your back and falling on your side, and sort of, you know, and you know, Dan's like, you know, Dan's super thin and stretchable, you know, and I'm just a 40-year-old lump. So when I land on my back, it's like, oh, you know, it's I'm not doing it nicely, but Dan really helped. He's all like, fall like this, do this, and it's like, all right, okay, that'll stop me from dying. But yeah, Dan really helped on that film. So I was like, I have to choreograph a striptease, man, and he was like, okay, I got you. So we do this, and we do this, and we do that, and we do this, and we rehearsed it, and it was like, cool. Yeah. Still the most embarrassing moment of my life, doing that to complete silence on set.
Yes.
There's no playback, there's no click track or anything like that. It was just silence, and like, you know, maybe a little bit of like fake wooing in the background. It was wanting to die inside.
That was real wooing.
Yeah, I think what people forget is when on films as well, is like, even though we were in quite a small set, there's still like 30 people stood around you watching. And it can be so intimidating, and I feel that every single time I have to kind of like get everyone's attention, and every single person turns to you, and you're like, oh crap, I've got to now like say, not come across like a moron. I need to sound like I know what I'm doing. But it's like I don't act on purpose, because I know I'm terrible anyway. But also I couldn't bear the kind of responsibility of actually performing on camera and everything. And that's why, again, we continue to work with you guys, because I can literally throw out these ridiculous situations, and you'll go, okay, cool, all right, yeah, I'll give it a go, and then we'll work on it and we'll get it, and it's hilarious every time.
I mean, I think one thing that was fun in How to Kill was you getting us to jump a car. I think that's one of the most fun evenings I've ever had on a film set, actually, with a few of us in a car pretending to jump it over a certain chasm. And especially since I think we were shooting that, it was maybe about 4 a.m. at the time, and there was definitely a lot of neighbours around the area who probably didn't appreciate us screaming at top voice. So actually, I think a lot of it's kind of quiet screams with a lot of acting to make it look louder than it was.
There's definitely a an unofficial no dickheads policy on a Dark Rift film set. You're not gonna be asked back if you're not gonna be polite and respectful of other people on the crew. And we're getting to know everybody because we're in this great facility in Leeds. I'm sure I'm allowed to say where we filmed it at. Stuart, we're at Leeds Beckett University in their brand new state of the art studios. These 3 huge studios, and it's like a massive difference from Book of Monsters, which was still really impressive. The studio we shot in for Book of Monsters. But suddenly we had air conditioning, and you could raise and lower lights and all of this stuff, and it was just really, really comfortable. And it was during that heat wave as well last July where everybody was dying and sort of spontaneously combusting outside, and we were inside going, I don't know what everyone's worried about. We're perfectly fine in here. But it was just every day. It was just fun to come in, and you had the space and you had the time to just chill out a little bit and talk to people and talk to the students who are helping on the film, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
That all these students of the university, got to help out on the film. I mean, I couldn't even imagine. I also went to York St. John, and there's nothing like that. No one was as good a university as it was. No one was queuing up to make films in the studios and things. I would have gone out of my mind if a horror film would have been shooting across from the lecture hall. And I mean, how great is that they get to do that now?
Yeah, that was
old man shakes fist at cloud.
That was a big. I hope that people will see the difference as well in the obviously we had a bigger budget for this film, The Book of Monsters, but also because we learned so many lessons on Book of Monsters, how to do stuff, how to spend every penny on the screen, and that's the challenge when you're doing a low budget film. You don't have the money that Hollywood has. You're like, okay, how do we squeeze this on? And those new facilities and the help from the students really helped. And again, it's hard to be completely subjective and objective of whatever as I've made both films, but when I watch both side by side, Book of Monsters, technically How to Kill Monsters just looks like it was made for 10 times the money. We really did execute everything a lot better. So I think people are going to be very surprised, especially at FrightFest when it opens on that massive super screen. And they go, oh shit, this is a real film, man. Holy crap. So yeah, I'm really excited for people to see.
All right, you've convinced me, I'll watch it.
and I think as well, Arron talking about the no dickheads policy. Yeah, we take that very seriously because it's as everyone has to kind of get into the same vibe and the mindset of we're all here to chip in and help out. So it's I always try and set that example when people are moving stuff around or people setting stuff up. I'll always help and get on my knees and start scrubbing the blood up. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like everyone we've worked with kind of gets into that mindset. And the people who don't get into that mindset, we just don't work with again. So that it works itself out.
And I want to jump onto because the thing that I loved about the first movie and the thing that I can tell I'm going to love about this movie, and you're absolutely right, by the way, because you've released the trailer now, haven't you? And even just the trailer shows you how massive of a level up this is. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Genuinely, I have to put that out there. Just the color grade and everything just looks amazing. But practical is your kind of way forward, and you've got a keen love of that, and that's what everyone seems to like with you guys. But what I wanted to know was, is there anything that you've seen up on the screen that on the day was an absolute ball ache to do, was a pain in the ass to edit or whatever, but when you see it up the screen, you're particularly proud of it? And I'd like something from each of you.
Well, I'll just go first just to say that every single thing is that. So on the day, because filmmaking is very stressful, especially when you're director and producer and things. You kind of, you've been planning all this stuff, and it's your job to get every element together to make that work right then and there. And all of that might lead up to literally 20 seconds. You hit record, it goes, and that's it. So on the day, you're always like, I imagined this differently, or I imagine that. Is it going to work? And again, that continues all the way through editing it. You're watching the rough cut because there's no sound design on there or anything. You're like, I wish this was better. This isn't exactly living up. But as every element adds in, sound design, music, color grade, bit of visual effects touch up. So we had a lot of monsters with tentacles. On this one, obviously there's wires, so you got to remove the wires. And until you get that, doesn't happen till the very end. And again, as I say, we tested the DCP for FrightFest the other week, and I went, oh my god, this works. This looks great. I'm so pleased with this. And everyone was like, yeah, oh my god, like again, watching the rough cuts, it doesn't work till that last moment, and all the elements are in there. And again, I have to give so much credit to Hamish Sachs, who was our DP, did the color grade as well. Not only did he shoot a beautiful film, but he graded it so well. It looked, again, Hollywood quality, as you said from the trailer. Tom and the sound design team, every little crunch of bone and gore and monster design, lightning noises, all of that atmosphere brings it together. And then Dave Walker, who did the music for Book of Monsters as well, he's back. This time we've gone for a proper 90s. He essentially said, I'm going to basically mash Con Air with Silent Hill 3. And I'm not shitting you, the soundtrack is Con Air meets Silent Hill 3. So like Arron has the cool, like guitar riff theme, and Dan has like the sexiest like saxophone like little riff every time you're on screen. It is so fucking good. So yeah, that's what it is basically. I'll shut up now.
I mean, if you're gonna go for a 90s movie, it's got to be Con Air.
Exactly.
They really committed as well that it's not. Stewart's being modest. It's not actually a DCP. They delivered the final film on VHS, just to be super authentic about the whole thing. You know, like when digital just won't do, when it has to be analog. You know,
Absolutely.
they'll all love it at FrightFest.
And Lyndsey, do you have any particular moment that when you see it up there on the big screen, you're like, oh man, we absolutely nailed it that day?
It's so difficult to kind of pinpoint one thing. I think when we were saying earlier about like the amount of blood that gets thrown at you, I think you always question like, how is this going to look on screen? Is it going to look convincing that I'm not expecting this amount of blood? Because obviously you kind of tense up before the blood's about to get shot at you. And I think you also don't want to look shocked afterwards. Well, actually, you could look shocked afterwards because you would naturally be shocked if that amount of blood was poured at you. But I think watching it back and seeing how, you know, Stewart's edited the film so well, to see all those elements come together when the blood does splat on everybody. I think that's always fun to watch how it's gonna look. Because obviously once they've shot the blood, you have to obviously cut straight away to make sure everyone's eyes are okay. So it's that's always interesting. I think any of the like monster bits as well, like working with the practical effects, just seeing how that's going to look on screen is always exciting. And as Stuart said, it's all worked really well. So yeah, there's just so many bits of this film that I can't wait for people to see. So
one of the things that I always pick up with you, Lyndsey, is your excitability for your projects, and you're always so just happy and just trying to promote it and everything. But I genuinely think, and I feel with the whole FrightFest announcement and everything, and the movie and the trailer coming out, there seems to be a bit of a buzz, a bit more of a buzz for this movie, as I've seen before. What are you hoping people get from it, and what are you hoping? How do you hope people take to it?
I just hope people just have a lot of fun with it, and I think that's ultimately what we make these films for, is just people to come in and have a really great time and come out with a smile on their face. I think that's what we really want. I think hopefully people can see how much fun we have making it, and I think we just ultimately want people to have that much fun watching it. Because like Dan said earlier, we are like a family, and it's going to be so nice to all get back together at the premiere, and I just want people to have fun and just enjoy it, and I think, which hopefully they will, because we just had such a great time working on it. So yeah, I think that's always my hope, is that just people really get on board, enjoy the story, enjoy all the monsters and the gore, and yeah, just have a good time.
I think it's even more important, actually, like in the last sort of few years with everything that happened with the pandemic, and it's really great that, you know, festivals like FrightFest are still going, and people can all be together to watch something that, like Lyndsey says, just hopefully just so much fun, and that sort of communal, we're all here, we're all watching it now. But, you know, down the line, it's also hopefully that sort of film that you get together with a bunch of mates on a Saturday night with some drink and a pizza, and you watch a film that's a silly good time. You know, that's that's the legacy of it. You want it to go on, and people, should we stick that on? Yeah, let's stick that on for a laugh, you know. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
And Daniel and Arron, your guys, do you have any particular moment that you can't wait to see up on the screen because you feel like on that day?
Go for it, Dan.
Yeah, because
throw you under the bus.
You guys shared so many scenes together, and like
We
again,
did.
the reason we put them together is because they're such like a good duo, like a good double act, both in like action scenes and comedy scenes. But I don't know if you guys have a particular favorite without spoilers.
Without spoilers. Yeah, I think there's one bit which to me I'm really looking forward to because I think it was the day that I realized it's funny that Arron was like kind of pointed out that, you know, I bring a sort of a bit of experience in kind of action stuff and things like that, and generally I've done sort of more serious films on the other side of things, more dramas and things like that. So comedy is never necessarily my comfort zone, and I think this film particularly, I'm really looking forward to see how that comedy comes across because working with Arron, his comic timing and his understanding of what works for screen is just brilliant. And I think I'm hoping at least, has brought out a much better side of my comedic acting there. And I'll be really interested to see that, to be honest. There's certainly a couple of bits when we were down in the sort of the basement of the university in a few corridors where we're kind of making our way around. And it gets a little bit Scooby-Doo at one point, which I'm really looking forward to seeing because me and him running around with a sword in hand trying to find some of these monsters to kill. And I just remember that particularly was a great fun day. It was one of the days where Lyndsey was there as well, and there was all three of us kind of running around. And I think there was a very cool shot we did, which involved it was a really long tracking shot down this super long corridor, and you guys had lit it brilliantly. It was like really like horror-esque with like lights are flashing and it's dark and little patches of light and stuff. So we'll see that kind of those moments of sort of creepiness come out as well. Yeah, I mean, so many bits. I'm really looking forward to seeing the fight scenes in this one as well. I had a hand in sort of doing them, and there was something that I know, Stuart, you wanted them to be something like a little bit more than last time, and I really wanted them to be that as well. So if you're happy with them, then hopefully they've turned out as good as they could.
Oh, they're so, honestly, man, because Book of Monsters, we had one fight where Michaela kind of fights herself.
Yes.
And then we kind of had the chainsaw fight with Lyndsey fighting the kind of spider shapeshifter monster at the end. And that was kind of it. In this movie, there's like fight scenes constantly. The last, I think Dan and Arron especially, the last kind of like 20 minutes where those two fight a particular monster is so fucking great. And we kind of shot, weirdly, again, this is how films are always kind of shot out of order, is we wanted to dedicate loads of time to these guys fighting monsters with weapons. So we basically finished filming, and then we did like a whole pickup day where we just had Dan and Arron with swords running around, being thrown against walls, dragged around. And then we did a whole other day with the monster as well, because we never actually filmed them on the same day because it was just like impractical, because practical effects takes ages. But the way it's all come together, and we had these guys back in a few months ago to do ADR. So it was like re-recording loads of dialogue to them watching the movie, just going and it honestly, it's all come together. It's absolutely hilarious. And I every time I rewatch the movie, like that last kind of half an hour chunk is just relentless. It's insane. So I think you guys are gonna love it. It's really turned out well.
Honestly, I just can't wait to see that Simon Pegg cameo again. Shit! Mr. Pegg is not appearing in this film.
Our lawyers would like to know that Simon Pegg is not. Yeah, I wish that would be cool. No, maybe next time.
I'm the same. It was the same with Dan. It was like anything that we got to do. It's kind of the reverse of that, where I'm fairly confident that I can do the sort of the comedy side of it, but not always the action side of it. And you always think you're going to be good at doing action or choreography in that sense, but it's complete wish fulfillment. And then when someone's on set who just has more of an instinct for it, it's comforting, because you go like, I can ask Dan, like, what do you reckon to this? Is that too low? Is that too high? Does that look stupid when I'm angling my fist that way? But yeah, anything, especially like what Dan mentioned, when it was all a bit sort of Scooby-Doo gang with me, Dan, and Lyndsey, various parts of the film, that was fun, because it was that you get to finesse it a little bit, because it was still, the whole process of filming it was quite still very tight. You know, we don't have hours and hours every day just to like waste on, you know, getting it, you know, just so we had to move along at a certain pace. And it's nice when you get to take those moments where, like, you know, especially let's say like me, Dan, and Lyndsey, we can go, oh, that was kind of funny when we did it on that first take. Maybe it's kind of cool if like you poke your head out that way and then I'll follow you just afterwards, and just like getting that little rhythm right. And you just think, you know, and when you kind of forget a lot about what you've done, and you know, it's been a year since we shot it, you look back and you go, oh God, I hope that worked. And I remember that thing that we did. But like, honestly, like 80% of what we did is kind of gone from my head. I'm looking for it's because you're so busy and the days are so long as well. And I'm a parent, so I wasn't getting much sleep between shoot days. So yeah, it's all going to be fresh for me. But yeah, just a lot of fun. There's little moments where you just get to take time to finesse it. Is really fun on set.
So the movie is getting its, I believe it's its UK premiere at FrightFest, August the 25th. Again, please do, if there's tickets available, please get them. I believe it's pretty much almost sold out, if not sold out.
Yeah, I think there's like nine tickets left this morning. The people who basically, when you go to FrightFest, you get like a festival pass.
Yeah.
And you can kind of redeem tickets to a movie. And me and Lyndsey just watched them go, like within 3 minutes they all just went instantly, so it's insane. So yeah, very few tickets left.
Come on guys, buy the last one, full house.
Come on.
And the thing is, you're going to struggle to find 9 people who like are friends but don't want to sit together.
Exactly.
We'll just put mannequins in the seat.
Yeah.
Just dress up some mannequins just to fill out the place a little bit.
We'll bring all the monster costumes and just sit them.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's an idea. That's like old school cinema idea. Definitely go for that. But once you've had your premiere at FrightFest, your very, very successful and critically acclaimed premiere that you're going to have at FrightFest, which I no doubt will happen. What happens next? When can people start to expect to see the movie?
Never. It just goes back. I delete the footage and that's it. We just do a one. I mean, imagine that. It's a one showing only and that's it. That'd be cool. Maybe
it's a way of
just,
like,
you just see Stewart at the back just locking the doors, like he's setting a fire. That's it now, guys.
So we are planning on a physical release through ourselves, because we set up Dark Riff Releasing to release Book of Monsters in 2020, which did really well, UK exclusive. We're going to be putting out How to Kill Monsters physically worldwide. Hopefully December is our target. We're still heading towards that. Nice. We're trying at the moment, we're talking to a number of streamers, streaming services to get the film on there. We're just trying to get the best deal, as we should. So we're just trying to get it there. So hopefully we can coincide the streaming launch with the physical media launch. At the same time, if any of you at the Kickstarter, you'll know that we did a video game and a comic book. So hopefully, if everything aligns, December will just be a big mega launch of How to Kill Monsters, movie, game, comic, merch, T-shirts, posters. It's going to go crazy. So it should be, 2024 will be the year of How to Kill Monsters, where I constantly plug that till we have another project.
That laser disc is going to be tight.
Yeah, the laser disc. And we also, FrightFest is, it's our world premiere, so it's the first time anyone's going to get to see it. But I've already had some very promising talks with other film festivals, so it will 100% be coming to other places in the UK as well as internationally, America and a few European countries. But obviously, as soon as I'm 100% able to tell you when they are, I will. And we encourage, and hopefully a lot of us can travel over there and actually, if we can afford it. This is the problem with making films. Very poor people now. Hopefully, if we can go over there, we can join other audiences there and kind of keep the excitement going for the film. Because I'm really interested to see how. I know it will work well in the UK because it's very British, but will it do as well in America? Will it do as well in Europe? So that's where it's going to be exciting. So it's going to be a fun year, really fun year.
Yeah. And I can't wait to see that journey, because we at Nerdly, Phil and I, we loved Book of Monsters, and we can't wait to see How to Kill Monsters. We were big fans of Lyndsey's other movie, Eating Miss Campbell. We just love this whole little realm, and that's why I'm loving the fact that you're bringing back Michaela, you're bringing back Johnny Vavash's in there. He's in the trailer quite a bit, which I loved seeing Johnny in the trailer. By the way,
He's in everything this year.
Yeah, he is. He's like 5
He's
things
in
at
like
Fright
17 films at Fright Fest.
it's just because he's just an awesome bloke as well, though.
He is. He's great.
And of course, Aviana's in there as well, and I love seeing this little community just grow and flourish, and I can't wait to see the journey that you guys go on. And quickly on that, you released a little prologue for the game on the Kickstarter. Yeah. Are we getting a fully fledged game, or?
Yeah, so the prologue was just really like a little tech demo for us to get feedback on and see what people thought of it. So the guys from Close Forum, who are the developers, they've been working on it just like we've been working on the post-production of the film. They've been working on the game. So the full game is basically an adaptation of the movie, but with a twist. So all of the characters in the movie have their own little avatars in the game, different weapons. You get to explore the police station and all of that stuff. We've been sharing the film, every copy of the film with them along. So they're watching it and going, okay, we can do this. So yeah, I can't really talk too much about it yet because we're getting the film premiere out of the way first. Then we'll start showing more of the game. But yeah, I'm really excited for people to play that because it's like been such a dream for me to have a game based off of a movie that I made, and to see these guys running around as little versions of themselves and play themselves in the game is going to be so cool. And we hope that what we're going to hopefully try and do is, once the film is out there next year, we can start going to like horror conventions and stuff and bring along an arcade cabinet and run some little competitions. It's like, can you beat the high score as Arron with the blood, mopping up the blood mini game, and if you do, you win a Blu-ray. And hopefully we can bring a lot of the cast along and do some fun stuff with that and get them to sign things. And yeah, it should be fun. I'm really looking forward to all of this stuff.
We're hoping that the game will be turned into a movie one day as well.
That would be great. I'd love to see that.
No, that's awesome, and Lyndsey, you're the Scream Queen right now, but also the Stream Queen. Any chance we'll be getting a live stream of you playing this game?
Yeah, that would be really cool to do. Yeah, we need to get back to streaming's just taking a little bit of a backseat just with everything that's been going on with the film, but hopefully we can get back to it. And yeah, that would be so cool to stream the game.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything about your lackadaisical streaming, but
I'm so sorry.
The problem, my worry about getting Lyndsey to stream the game is she's absolutely shit at games in general, and that's generally the hook of the Twitch stream is that I will pick the best horror games and I'll go, you're going to be horrible at this and die loads. It's going to be hilarious. But the problem is the How to Kill Monsters game is like, you actually have to be quite good to play it. Like it's a real like good button masher game, and you've got to be quite tactical. And I know, having watched Lyndsey try and complete Dead Space, it's going to be tough. So I think that it's going to be a slog, that stream, but I'm excited to get that going.
Well, maybe we could get like multiple of us.
Yeah,
like Arron
we'll all
could
do
come
it
on as well, and then
that would be good.
Of course.
Yeah,
Let's
and then once I've tried like one level and I'm shit, we could be like, Arron, you do this one, do this for me.
Lyndsey is AFK.
I look forward to that as well. I'm going to circle back to something that Arron said before because I quite like the way you phrased it. What is everyone's, because this is hopefully going to be a nice silly time movie for people to watch, what's everyone's go-to silly time movie? The guilty pleasure amongst us.
Well, again, it all depends on people's taste, because what I consider a guilty pleasure, other people might think is like their favorite masterpiece movie. So like, but for me, like I always go back to Aliens. Is such a good entertaining. Like again, I've been ripping off James Cameron my whole career, but like I always see if Book of Monsters was Alien, this is Aliens. How to Kill Monsters is Aliens. So it's just action packed. Great stuff take the best stuff from the first film, but put loads of action in it. But I love like just pure monster schlock stuff. So like Deep Rising, The Mummy, Tremors, Gremlins. Gremlins 2 is the best one because it just knows that it's a sequel and just takes the piss out of it. But that's my kind of stuff, man. I don't know about you guys.
Oh God, I don't know. any kind of comedy from my childhood, I guess, or sort of adolescence. I like one of the best sort of guilty pleasure films, and it's not like an artistic view. It's not like when you watch Aliens, which is not just a silly good time. It's fucking brilliant. But it's like sticking something like Basketball on.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
just something that like I want 90s feel good, silly visual gag comedy. You know, that kind of thing. It just makes me so happy. You can just watch it over and over. You just give it a bit of time and you can just watch it over and over again. And I have all of, you know, like The Matrix is like hands down my favorite film ever, because I was 15 and I was just the right time I knew nothing about it. And that is like, I can watch that film over and over and over again. It's the one film that I've ever come out of the cinema with my mind like blown, truly. I've never had quite the same experience. It's that sort of 1977 Star Wars effect, where it's like, I've never seen anything as good as Star Wars in 1977. That's kind of me with The Matrix. But no, there's almost too many, isn't there, to watch, especially now. Feels like someone's recommending something every week that you should be watching, and there's just no time to watch it all. But yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, mine's probably, I don't know. I'm a big Disney fan, so I think like anything Disney is like a big guilty pleasure for me. But then I love watching things like Hot Fuzz and, you know, The Shaun of the Dead, those kind of things. So yeah, it's a bit of a broad range for me, but yeah.
Yours is Scream 2, Lyndsey.
Oh, Scream 2.
You're obsessed with Scream 2.
Yeah, if I was going to be, if it was kind of a guilty pleasure for franchise, it's a Scream all the way. Yeah.
Yes, I got that on film.
Yeah.
You do have Scream behind you, I can see.
I do, yeah.
That is a signed copy.
Along with...
Copy, yeah. That Gary gave me.
Signed by
kindly.
Who signed it?
Nev Campbell.
Third AD.
Wow.
Yeah, Gary very kindly gave me a signed disc of Nev Campbell. So, and she's my favorite Scream Queen. So I was like, yeah, I was pretty blown away by that.
And you're talking about Gary Allen, who's
and you've also got a Blu-ray copy.
Yeah, sorry, I realised I've just said Gary, and then
just assume everyone knows Gary.
So yeah, Gary Allen, who is the prop maker for our film, he's fantastic, and the stuff he's made for the film was incredible. So yeah, he's a great guy.
And Daniel, your go-to silly time movie, guilty pleasure?
Oh, silly time. You know, I think recently, at least, it'd have to be Everything Everywhere All at Once. Absolutely blew my mind. The fights in it, the kind of crazy style of it and stuff. If it was to be more on the horror side, I'm a little bit obsessed with Event Horizon to this day. That thing completely inspired my love for things like Warhammer and stuff like that. You know, that kind of dark, especially when it's sci-fi. Which I know I've spoken to Stewart a few times that we should make a nice sort of contained sci-fi in a spaceship sometime. Yeah, I think something like that, definitely.
Interestingly, I think Event Horizon's like one of the few movies that the first time I ever watched it, I shat myself. And it's not.
Yes.
It's not really that scary of a movie, but I absolutely shat myself.
I think I watched it when I was about 10 years old, which was maybe a bad idea, but what a movie.
When Sam Neill starts stabbing all the dinosaurs, that's just way out of line, man. Why did they mix those? What's your favorite silly time go-to film? Come on, let's turn it around on you.
Yeah.
Well, funny thing is, Stuart actually mentioned it. It's Tremors. It's Tremors. It always will be Tremors. I mean, I've seen every Tremors movie up until the 12th one, I think. Last year, I got to interview Burt Gummer, which was like probably one of my peak moments in life, to be honest.
Didn't Kevin Bacon eventually play the monster in Tremors 12?
That was
just a giant Kevin Bacon.
Just doing the worm along the ground.
To the track of Footloose.
Put a wry smile on my face when Stuart mentioned that, because it doesn't get enough credit.
Perfect film, perfect movie.
Yeah.
Even the sequels, guys. I love the sequels.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, they did get kind of stupid, but I mean that's the point.
I mean, the fact that I can name Tremors 2 Aftershocks, Tremors
awesome.
3 Back to Perfection.
Tremors, Tokyo Drift.
Too
Trem, Too Furious.
Yeah, I like the one where The Rock shows up. And they talk about family, and yeah, it's great.
Well, you've just ruined Tremors for me. Thanks.
Hey.
Right, guys. I'm going to start wrapping up real quick, but first of all, who wants to give the like you say, there's 9 tickets left for FrightFest. Who wants to give that elevator pitch for How to Kill Monsters? Fill those 9 seats.
Stu.
Sure.
Come on,
If
gotta be.
you, yeah, I would say if you want to have a balls to the wall, popcorn fun, good time in the cinema with a bunch of people who are there for the exact same reason, and the cast and crew who worked on the movie, who are going to be so hyped up. If you want to have that experience on a Friday night in one of the biggest cinema screens in London, by the way, you can buy alcohol and bring it into that cinema as well, just so you know.
Oh, nice.
Then come and see How to Kill Monsters. I guarantee you will get your money's back. You won't get your money back. You get your money's worth.
Get it now.
You get your money's worth.
I have to take your first answer.
Yeah, but it's like Arron nailed it earlier on when he said it's the type of the movies that we make. We call it blood-soaked popcorn horror. It's the movies that you can grab a couple of mates around your house, sit on the sofa, get some Domino's pizzas delivered, get some beers, and just laugh and have fun. And yeah, it's those types of movies. So it really is that. And we're very kind of, we always say, like, in the world in turmoil as it has been over the last few years, this really is kind of just a release movie that you could just sit and enjoy. And we've tried very hard to make it timeless. There's no references to modern day stuff. There's no kind of like political angle that we're going for with this. It's just like awesome people, fun characters, fighting monsters, practical effects. Those are the things that our movie includes, and that's what you will get when you come and watch it.
Amazing. And then before I wrap out, we're going to leave it there. But before I wrap out, does everyone have a favorite line from the movie that you can't wait to see how audiences react to it?
Can you remember any of the lines?
You're asking us to remember a long time back.
You got to remember these guys had to learn like 100+ page script of lines. I don't know.
Mine was I'll be back. That was a really good one.
That was a good one,
Remember when I said that to Dan
Nice.
just before I left the jail set? Yeah. I don't remember any lines.
Well, if that's too on the spot, we'll just end that there. But guys, please do. Anyone watching, anyone listening, please do. If you can make it to FrightFest, even if you're just trying to barge your way in and you don't have a ticket, just barge in. You'll be fine. As Stuart says, you'll get your money back. But yeah, please do head there. Go to see this movie at FrightFest. You're going to absolutely love it. Nerdly, myself, Nerdly, Phil. We loved Book of Monsters. We can't wait to see How to Kill Monsters. And I'm guessing we'll get a 3rd part at some point.
Who knows? Who knows?
This
Apocalypse
is
of Monsters, or I need a name. We need a cool title. So throw titles out when you next see me, and we'll pick the best one.
Just go Book of Monsters. Book of Monsters 3. It's fine.
How to kill Book of Monsters something. We'll need to merge them somehow. Pamphlet of
I think we change it. We go for How to Love Monsters. Maybe we should completely go for different.
And then when we set up the OnlyFans to help us, who needs Kickstarter anymore? Just get
That's how it's done these days. That's how it's done. But yeah, guys, I can't wait for this movie to hit, and I can't wait for people to see it. So I'm just going to let you guys go. I've taken up far too much of your time. You've been far too gracious with me. But if everyone just wants to give a quick goodbye and let people know where they can find you, where they can find the movie, and anything else like that.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, just at Lyndsey Craine. Very, very simple. So yeah, you can catch me on social. So I'll hopefully be sharing a lot of stories from FrightFest. So hopefully you can come and enjoy them. Yeah, and I have a Twitch stream as well. So I stream over on Dark Rift Horror, which we will be getting back to. I promise. Yeah, I just play a lot of horror games extremely badly. So if that's your thing, do check Dark Rift Horror Twitch stream out.
I host a pop culture comedy podcast with a longtime friend of mine, Andy. The podcast is called Smorgasbord. Because we talk about a little of everything. We can never stay on topic. And you can find that wherever you get podcasts. And we've been doing that for a few years. And we also do a Transformers review show on YouTube called Transform and Tell, which I have no interest in Transformers whatsoever, but my co-host Andy from the podcast does, and he wouldn't shut up talking about Transformers on the show. So we gave him his own show called Transform and Tell. So we're making that on the side, but I'm not in that. I just sort of make that for him. But that's kind of, and then I've got a day job which we won't mention here.
I mean, I said promote yourself, not your podcast. That's all take out.
It's all about rivalry. It's all about rivalry.
No.
What, sub for sub? Come on, we can help each other out.
Sub for sub. God, it's been a while. No,
Dan.
great.
Dan.
You can find me on Instagram at dsthrace. That's pretty much the only social media I use these days. I got another feature coming out this year, a World War II film, which is going to be a load of fun, called Fortunes of War, and a short film called The Good Times, which is doing its festival run at the moment. But we're hoping that might manage to break onto a few other platforms and stuff. I mean, aside from that, I'm busy making TV. I crew as well as cast. So if you like murder documentary stuff, watch American Monster or Feuds. I've probably shot a few of the recreation bits in there.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's awesome, man. And yeah, you can follow me at Stewart Sparke if you want, but it's just me talking about nerdy stuff. So follow Dark Rift Horror. That's me as well, really. Secretly me all along. And yeah, come see How to Kill Monsters at FrightFest. You can also see Dark Rift Horror also produced I Am Monsters, which is Nicholas Vince's adaptation of his one-man stage show.
It's very good.
Which it's a fantastic kind of portrait of him, his early life, working on Hellraiser, working with Clive Barker, like living as a gay man in Thatcher's Britain, where he kind of had to stay in the closet to get acting roles, but he was kind of struggling with his sexuality. It's so interesting. And Nick is like one of the genuinely nicest human beings to exist. Like, he just exudes warmth. He will give you hugs. He's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, go and see that. That is on Monday at 11:20 in the morning on FrightFest on the last day, but that is one not to be missed as well. And that one, we will be releasing that on Blu-ray towards later in the year. And if you come to FrightFest, there will be a Q&A after How to Kill Monsters, where we will be announcing future Blu-ray plans for Dark Rift Horror as well. So, exciting stuff to be revealed.
Exciting, very exciting. I mean that kind of means I'm gonna have to go now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to come.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. But if you want to find me at FrightFest, I'll be at the bar. So
Well, see you then,
right, guys. This has been Nerdly Out Loud, the official channel of nerdly.co.uk, your favorite British website for all your news, reviews, and exclusive interviews. And guys, How to Kill Monsters, I'm absolutely dying to see it. I think, Stuart, you know that I've been kind of just been at you every 2 minutes on the Discord and the Facebook and everything. But it's been a long time coming, this chat, and I'm really glad we got to do it today. And I'm glad it was for this movie. So, guys,
nice one.
Thanks, mate. Thank you so much for having us, man.
Thank you.
And again, any reviewers out there who do go to FrightFest, 5 out of 5 for this movie.
Please do.
Because as Stuart says, you get your money back.
I'm so screwed now.